This is the Bolex 102 MTC, which they call the Instaprojector system. This is also sold under the name the EUMIG, EUMIG R 2000 Instaprojector. They are identical machines, just with different brands on them. And what they do is they play Super 8 and regular 8 movies and project them onto this rather large screen. Lots of controls for projection, rewind, adjusting the frame rate, framing, focus, and that sort of thing. Now, I bought this one from somebody in the United Kingdom, and they screwed up and advertised it as running off US main voltage, which is about 110 to 120 volts. In fact, this one requires, I think, 220. So after I had it shipped from Europe, I had to buy one of these, which takes 110 and converts it to 220. Not many of us have 220 outlets in our studios in the United States. Together, it makes a pretty good combination. I'll show you how it looks, show you the pitfalls, and see if I can convince you that you need to have this. On the side of the projector is a little panel you can remove. It's held in by one screw. And this is the film path. It snakes through here. There's the projection bulb. And as with all film projectors, you're going to get jams in here on occasion. You're going to have splices that stick, or you're going to have film that just breaks. So it's handy that you can get this cover off quickly to get out the bad and sometimes damaged film. There are little plastic guides all around for the film path. And you can actually, I'm not going to snap that one out, but you can snap those things out if you need to get better access to the film. Here's the mirror, which projects the image into the, or onto the big viewing screen here. Keep that thing dusted off. There's the projection lens. You can loosen that to take that out. There's a spring clip that holds the projector bulb in. And again, as I said, you know, this is a complex electromechanical object, and you will have problems with film, as you do again on any movie projector in my experience. The supply reel mounts on the same shaft as the take-up reel. I've got a little piece that I slip over the end of that to help keep it locked on. The film goes into here. Turn this to where it says threading. It goes in a little bit, it gets picked up automatically, and with any luck at all, it pops out the other side. So it gets caught up by the take-up reel, and sometimes you have to give it a little assist doing that, and then you're going to stick it in the slot right here. Before we play it, we want to make sure it's in the appropriate setting for either normal 8 or Super 8. This is normal 8. And we can change the speed over here. We can frame it, and we can focus it, but we can do that after it starts. Now, this is the tricky part here, because sometimes you have to flip this knob a few times before you can get a function to work. Like, okay, projection started working okay there. Let's turn off some lights. The focus, you can adjust by sliding this lever up and down, and then when you get to a certain point, you can fine-tune it by turning the knob. Okay, I've turned off all the adjacent lights so you can get a better idea of how this looks. This is the kind of home movies that make you dizzy, but it does let us demonstrate the quality of the image. Let's move in a little bit closer here. Is that the Empire State Building? I do believe it is. There's the speed adjustment. I think you have to adjust that before you start playing your film. Right now it's at 18 frames per second, and you can slide it down all the way to about 3 frames per second. Okay, time to get it ready to rewind. We're going to pick up the end of the film, which by now is all on the take-up reel. We're going to loop it around that little piece. Wrap the leader around the supply reel. And then we use the rewind function. On this Instaprojector, the control knob doesn't always work as it should. I suspect that it needs contact cleaner applied to some electrical connections on the inside. So you can see right there, you can hear the motor, but something's stuck, so you have to jiggle it like your cousin Billy's toilet. You know, you got to jiggle the handle to get it working. Okay, now we're in the rewind mode. On the back of the projector are 2 little doohickeys, gadgets, gimcracks. This one is for looping the film around when you're rewinding it. And that is actually a little film cutter. You can cut the end of the film to give it a better shape for feeding into the auto threading mechanism. You just put your film underneath the edge of that, push down, and it trims it.